Hey, good morning. It's BJ and Joe Ando from Out and About on the Recumbents. And welcome to camera test number 4. You guys are like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Yeah, I picked up a GoPro Hero 2. And basically because it was kind of nice to have a backup camera. And the other thing is that this one came with a deep case. So I can actually use my rear view screen attachment. So yeah, so I'm giving it a test run today. Okay. All right, Joe. Okay. Howdy. Good morning. Hello. All right. So yeah, we're on the Sinton Trail today, and we're heading west on the Sinton Trail. Going to be going over to the Foothills Trail, up past the Garden of the Gods, over to 31st Street, bike lane, and yeah, supposed to be not supposed to have a big chance of rain today, so maybe we'll actually get in that's a path up to Sinton Pond up there on the other side of that berm. And yeah, so like I said, we're just taking an easy cruise here, doing a little more bit of camera testing. It's funny though, the original GoPro I had that died, the firmware inside just gave up. Thank you. Bike back, Joe.
What a day, huh?
Oh yeah. Have a good day. Okay. Yeah, so little creek action going here. Do 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 do. Morning. Do 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 do. I think this is Douglas Creek, but as I've said before in a couple of videos, I'm not really sure if Douglas Creek is a real creek or just more of a drainage. Busy path today. Bit of an incline here. And I was fortunate that the open clear case back door from the one fits on this too, because it came with the you know, the full waterproof back door, and that wouldn't let me do you much good because you wouldn't be able to hear me at all, or barely, you know. Sorry, we're going over I-25, and well, actually we're going under I-25, and this is Chestnut Street we're coming up on, which is a very busy street. This is another utilities path that they built to go down, and so you wouldn't have to actually, you know, use the crosswalk here to get across to the other side of the street, but it's all really rough gravel, and I just don't do really rough gravel. Catch up here with Joe. More mud. Yeah, we had the strangest rain last night. It would rain and hail, stop. Rain and hail, stop. Rain and hail, stop. And it did that for several hours, and it was never a hard rain, you know. It was never like a heavy thunderstorm or anything. But yeah, the Sinton Trail here is one of the more wooded trails. Oh, sorry about the bumps, but these are what we call the bobble bumps. Big old tree roots in the asphalt, you know, because this is an older section. And yeah, let me apologize to you guys. I know a lot of what we do is the same thing, and the hard cold facts is that on our Social Security retirement, and I mean the retirement, not the we don't get disability of any sort, but the retirement, our income is very limited, and we can't afford a truck, you know, to be able to, or a van, to haul the trikes around to go to other places, you know, in the city or around the state, or, you know, out of state. We would love to. Oh man, we'd love to. There's some great trails out there we'd love to see. You know, one of them is what is that, the High Trestle Trail in Iowa, one that lights up blue at night and looks like you're going down a mine shaft. Oh man, that would be something else. And then there's the Coeur d'Alene Trail in I think that's, well, I think it's in Idaho. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in Idaho. And that thing's stunning. It's 72 miles long. It goes over a couple of lakes, you know, I mean, long bridges over lakes, and man, you know. And of course the biggies, you know, the C&O, and the trail systems, Little Miami in Ohio. You know, I mean, oh man, we would love nothing better than have enough money to be able to afford a vehicle and, you know, bring you videos from, well, you know, places like that. But until Joe wins her, howdy? Got two back, Joe. Thank you. All right, we're clear? Yeah, sorry about that. We had riders come up behind us. So I lost my train of thought, went right off the track. But, oh yeah, we were talking about traveling. And yeah, I know you say, well, hey, you could rent, you know, rent a truck. Well, that has gotten stupidly expensive since COVID 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And, it's never come back down. We were looking at trying to make the High Trestle Trail in Iowa this year, and we figure for us, we need about a day and a half to get there from Colorado, and a day and a half back. So that's, you know, that's 2 days, and then at least a couple days there. So that's 4 days of of truck rental or van rental, and just for the rental, not even the insurance, was $1,200. Well, on our meager funds, that ain't gonna happen. So you're stuck with Joe and I doing a lot of repeats. What we try to do, though, is, it's a little hard to do, but we do try to make them a little different every time. Maybe not shoot quite exactly all the same areas, or give you a little more back. Just add some different things, bring up some different points. So that's the best we can do. That's Douglas Creek down there. Not much flow on this end. Flows better towards as you get towards the Pikes Peak Greenway. But still, the only time it flows really heavy at all is if it's raining like crazy. This part of the trail used to be asphalt, like the trail back there, but they had a big, they had a super heavy rainstorm a couple of years ago, and they had to basically just took a chunk out of the wall here, and so they had to redo that. So they went ahead and concreted this portion. Maybe one day they'll concrete the whole thing. Let that one go too. Busy today. Now, all of our intersections on these trails have been really busy today. Of course, it is a weekday, and it's not as early as we had actually planned to get out, but our trikes are, they do kind of a half fold, you can fold the rear end up, so if you're trying to get it into a smaller car, or a couple of trikes in an SUV or something, you could fold it at least halfway. Well, we don't ever plan on folding ours. Morning. There's a pretty good view of Pikes Peak there over Joe's head. Trees just block it off here pretty quick. So, bring it back down. Bike back. Clear? We're going to be going through the tunnel, as we call it. I'm afraid it will always be, it has to be pronounced like that because that's the way Gollum said it. When he went into the caves of Shelob, the big spider. So ever since, we've always, enunciated it that way, the tunnel. Howdy. And this tunnel's really tiny. It's really only big enough for, one-way traffic. And boy, for many years it was pitch black. I mean, you couldn't see a thing. It was really bad. And probably about a year ago, the city, bless their hearts, got their crews in here and fixed the lights. So now, as you can see, you can actually see where you're going. Like I said, the wall's right there. You know, I mean, give you a back view here. Yeah, this is great being able to actually see when I'm filming. I haven't been able to do that because although I have the unit, you know, the accessory rear viewing screen for my GoPro 3, I don't have the right case. So if I put the screen on, I can't use the case, and that means there's more wind noise in the video. So, you know, it's one of those kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't things. So when this 2 came up for sale, which, you know, I mean, it's a very, very old camera. And one thing I noticed, the original GoPro and the GoPro 2 are quite thick. You know, I mean, they're quite thick cameras. When they went to the 3 and the 4, they made them considerably thinner. But the biggest thing is to find out, you know, how good it works and how good the picture quality is on the 2. Because on the original GoPro I had, the picture quality on the 3 was a lot better. Even though it was the same, you know, I shoot at 1080p, 30 frames per second. That's my video speed, or film speed, if you want to put it that way, the old way. And because that way, you know, no matter what format, you know, or whatever you watch your YouTube videos on, you know, it'll be compatible. Because, you know, a lot of people don't have, you know, 2.7 or 4K, you know. So, besides that, 1080p, 30 frames per second is the highest resolution that the GoPro 2 has. Which is a step up because the original GoPro was a max of 960p, so it's a little better. But the GoPros definitely have better lenses than the cheaper you know, little video cameras do, because my Campark, I had a Campark 4K Ultra for several years, and that one there, I mean, it would shoot 4K, you know, if you wanted it to. Of course, it'd just eat a battery if you did 4K, but it would shoot 4K, but it just never had a very clear picture. Even, you know, I shot a couple videos in 2.7K, and they just didn't, you know, for 2.7K it should have been a lot clearer, you know, than it was. Besides that, at least on the free YouTube, I don't know if it's different for you guys and gals that actually pay for a subscription to YouTube, but on the free one, 1080p is usually as high as you can get. Of course, now, like I said, even when I shot in 2.7K on the old Campark 4K Ultra, I never tried to, and you know, maybe it's the TV that doesn't have the higher resolution. Maybe if you had a 4K TV, you know, 4K capable TV, then maybe you'd be able to, you know, see your video in 4K. All right. There's the big old huge drainage ditch there. Never want to go off that edge, boy. That would be painful. Very expensive homes up here. This is we're getting over towards the Garden of the Gods, which of course is a much more hotsy-totsy, wealthy folks area than right around where we live. Just a block north and a block west of Penrose Hospital, the old Penrose Hospital, Penrose, Maine they call it. Looks like Joe might be plus two. It's also kind of a battery test because, you know, this one uses the really old style battery. You know, it's a rectangle, but it's quite a bit thinner. You know, where the 3 uses the fairly square one. Goes in the back door, and I think for the 4 they actually had a slot in the bottom. The battery might be the same, but the you know, the place you put it in the camera is different on the 4. But I've never had a 4. I'm just looking at some pictures. Because I'm going to stick with this 2 and my 3. My 3 is, if the 2 takes okay, you know, decent video, then I'm going to turn my 3 into a make it my still camera. If it doesn't, well, if I don't care for the video quality itself, the clearness, you know, with this 2, I want to go back to my 3, and sadly you're all going to have to suffer with the wind noise until I can find one of the deeper backs with the open holes in it. Because I really do like being able to see what I'm shooting, at least to a point. It gets pretty dark when it gets really sunny. Now there's the foothills up there. That area up there is called the Scar. Basically back in the 1930s, you know, that area was a long ways out of town. So they strip mined it for gravel. Because they were to lay as a base for the tarred streets in Colorado Springs. Morning. And so, you know, basically, you know, almost 50 years later, they're trying everything they can to green it back up, you know, but it's, sorry about that, I didn't miss a pothole, but yeah, we're going up a pretty good incline, about 3.3, but my my altimeter, or grade meter on my computer GPS, just is really weird. It changes all the time. Like right now it's 3.5, 2.8, 2.7, 3.4, 3.3. Now going down just a little bit, 3.1. Went back to 3.5 because I'm gaining again, 3.1. Now I'm going up again, and it still hasn't gone there. 3.4, 2, 2.8. 3.9, 4.2, 4.1, 4.0, 3.4. It just changes, so, you know, constantly. And I guess, I don't know, maybe that's the way terrain really is, you know. Like I said, I apologize for the feet. But you know, this is using the handheld mount, and it's just not, you know, just not quite tall enough, you know, to get it over my feet and not have to, you know, hold my arm way up in the air all the time, which I can't do because of my arthritis. And I'm gonna bring this over here. No, I can't do it. I'm gonna try to switch gears, but it'll put too much stress on the derailleurs to try to do it when I'm going uphill. Yeah, see, it's 5.3, 5.9, 5.6, 2.8, and it's still going uphill, you know. 6.9, 8.2. Howdy.
Yeah, we did. We were there 3 times. Oh, wow.
Whew. Go ahead. So now what we're doing is we'll be going off the old asphalt trail here. SpongeBob, you guys say hi. So we'll be going off the old asphalt part of the trail onto the new concrete. Well, it's not really new, it's been there a while. But onto the concrete that goes along Garden of the Gods Road. Now it's funny, this is Garden of the Gods Road, but it doesn't actually get you to the Garden of the Gods. It takes you up to 31st Street, then you take 31st Street over to the Garden of the Gods. So you would have thought they would have named 31st Street Garden of the Gods Road. But I'm not a traffic engineer, so I don't know why they decided to do it that way. But as Jim Carrey would say, that's how the cookie crumbles. So, really old movie. I can't even remember the name of it. Joe and I love to take situations in life and put movie quotes to them. We do it all the time. So yeah, so now we're on the concrete. Technically it is part of the Sinton Trail. I just call it the double wide sidewalk. But this will take you up to 31st Street. A little more foothills over there. This building here is the United States Space Foundation building, Discovery Center, and they got our new fancy LED sign up. It says it's only 59 degrees. That's surprising. Feels a little warmer now. Sometimes when you come up here, because of this nice grass, it'll be full of deer. I mean, like a herd. So that's the building right there. Yeah. So if you Garden of the Gods and Arrows West Drive. So if you ever come to Colorado Springs, one of the cool things to check out, along with, of course, Pikes Peak and Cave of the Winds and Old Colorado City, the what do they call that? Oh, the arcade, the old arcade in Manitou Springs, and Manitou Springs itself. Pure tourist trap, but kind of a fun place to hang for an afternoon. So yeah, so I'm testing video quality, testing the camera itself, testing its battery life, testing the audio, so it's a complete test. I'm testing everything. I have to do some maintenance on my trike here because my seat is creaking and I can't figure out why, so I'm going to have to tighten down all the seat bolts and all that kind of stuff. sometimes, because I had problems with the seat creaking on a TerraTrike, and it was actually the mesh in the seat that was rubbing against the aluminum. That one was steel, the steel seat frame. This one I'm pretty sure has aluminum. But yeah, I just started doing it about 2 weeks ago, and I thought it might be the cable ties that I made my folding restraint holder out of. Run her back. Clear. But I took that one off today and put on a much better strap, both Joe's and mine. And since we don't plan on folding ours at all, they actually came with a what you call it, a Velcro strap, but in a fit of stupidity, I decided that we really didn't need them because you know, we weren't gonna fold the trikes. And then I found out that well, I should say my wife basically looked at me one day when I was trying to figure out why when you pick the bike up by the rack, the rear tire, which, you know, the rear wheel would flop to the ground, so you couldn't pick it up. And she goes, well, they did a couple things to her trike, and I had him take off the strap because even he thought it didn't really make any difference. But we were wrong and my wife was right. This is a new Red Leg Brewing company. Very fancy place. It's got, you know, it's got the full pub up there, you know, by where the tents are. Of course, that's their meeting place on patio. But it's got like 3 or 4 restaurants, different types of food restaurants in these, or cafes more like, in these boxcar things. But it's got bike racks and they have cornhole, lots of tables. They have a stage over here. It's also one of those boxcar things. We'll go up here and check it out. But I think Joe's thinking about using the restroom, but I don't think they'll be open. There's a burger place and a pizza place. And this is a rental place from Criterion Bicycles. Alright, well, we're going to stop here and check it out, but I got a feeling they won't be open like last time. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off for her, and we'll get back to you later. Alright, bye. Okay, hey, we're back. We're now on what they call the Foothills Trail. And ready, Joe? Oh, not quite. We stopped in the shade to eat our snack. Because as you know, Joe being a type 2 diabetic, I have to make sure that I get food in her at least every couple hours. So the Foothills Trail goes along 31st Street here, and I'm not sure which way, you know, where it actually goes when you head north. I know it goes up into the, I think it goes up into the Mountain Shadows, you know, housing area, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I got to get down into my lower gears here, because pretty good hill. But yeah, you'll start seeing some of the red rocks that Garden of the Gods is kind of famous for. Right there. That building up there is the international headquarters of the Navigators. Some kind of it's a religious thing of sort. I don't know exactly what. Weeds are a little high on the edge here. So like I said, you can start seeing some of the red rock. And this is the old section of Foothills, very old. Whew. Man, and this first part is all uphill. 8% incline, 8 to 4, 5, down to 7. Now, lots of runners over here because they like to run through the Garden of the Gods. And if you do decide to come here and go through the Garden of the Gods, that's another great place. They do have a bike lane all the way around the Garden of the Gods. Now, it goes with traffic, of course, but at least they do have the bike lane all the way around. So you can, you know, do a tour of the whole park in, and, you know, at least have the comfort of a bike lane. You do have to be careful, though, because sometimes the folks from out of state get a little crazy gawking, and they don't watch where they're going. As you can see, we're definitely climbing now, but yet it only says we're at 5, 6, 7, 8, back down to 7, 8, 8, 2. Okay, then we should jump up right here because we're definitely going up, but it actually went down to 6. That's so weird. Back to 7. Okay. Now, I apologize, but this is going to be very bumpy. Very, very bumpy. Bike back. Clear. Yeah, this, as you can see, this asphalt is very, very rutted. I have to be real careful because some of these ruts are big enough to get my tire caught in, because I have fairly thin tires. I have 1.50s, where Joe's got 2.0s on the front and a 1.75 in the rear. And that's some of the wealthy folks' homes way up here on the ridges. There you go. Now you're looking into the Garden of the Gods itself. More prominent red rocks. Yeah, these cracks, crevices, whatever you want to call them, boy, they are brutal. I mean, they are just brutal as they can be. Especially for us, because although we have rear suspension, a basic rear suspension, an elastomer type rear suspension, we don't have front suspension. That's a bit out of our league financial wise. So now we're going to turn off. If you head straight up the new concrete there, that's the oh, what is the name of that? That's the Mesa Trail. Yeah, Mesa Trail. Now we're going to go underneath the bridge here. Now it tells you to dismount if you're a cyclist, but the one great thing about, well, one of the great things about a trike is that you don't have to, because you got 3 feet of space above your head. Okay, now we're on the newer concreted part of the Front Range Trail. Pretty bumpy trail. Give you a little more. I'm not sure what that building there is. Gives you more. There's a little door right there. Hi, sugar. And hi. We got a bit of a haze today. They've got a big forest fire in northern New Mexico, and so we're not sure if this is a water haze, where basically it rained and hailed a bit last night, on and off for several hours, and it's sometimes, against the foothills here, what happens is as the atmosphere draws the water up into the up into the clouds, it creates what kind of looks like fog. It's not every once in a while, not very often, but every once in a while we will get a smog type stuff, but it's more yellow than this. Get back down here on the trail. Yeah, these concrete blocks are always chunk, 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 chunk. I don't know if you can hear, but go ahead, babe. Yeah. But they redid all this because it used to be an asphalt trail. Because it got when we had one of those flooding rains. Yeah, sorry about that, but I had to lean in because I'm going fast and I've got my hand on kind of the wrong brake. I should have my hand on the other brake, but I can't really switch at the moment, so I'll switch here so I can gear down one, because it goes back up right here. Oh man, I'm in my lowest gear. I didn't mean to go quite that low. I didn't realize I was still in my little chain wheel. I have a triple chain wheel, which means I have 3 different chain wheels, 3 different sizes of chain wheel. And that gives me, different gearing ranges. So, people say you have a 27 speed. Well, what you really have is a 9 speed in 3 ranges. It's kind of like, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive low, 4-wheel drive high, that kind of thing. And you pick a, this is a hiker's trail here, the Dakota Trail. No bicycles allowed. Which is cool, I mean, they can't, the hikers need a trail of their own somewhere, I mean, gotta be fair. And since we've got this, really nice concrete trail here, I won't say it's smooth, I'll say it's smoother. We're gaining some speed now, we're going back downhill. I'll try to hold this as steady as I can, but these things just bounce you around. We're up to 18.5 miles an hour. That building over there with the strange turret roof is the new Garden of the Gods Visitor Center, right off of 31st Street. And you turn off of 31st Street and you go on Gateway Road, and Gateway Road takes you through the Garden of the Gods. We're not going to do that. When they redid 31st Street, they did us a big favor, because we used to have to cross over Gateway Road. So, you know, we had to wait for cars. And sometimes this park is one of the most visited parks in the United States. And so, you know, it was hard to get across, but last year they built us an underpass. Oh, cool. We're going to go check out the sign here, because usually there's like 10,000 people here. So let me get your... Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we don't normally get to do this, because usually there's 10... Yeah, like I said, there's 10,000 tourists here. Garden of the Gods. National Natural Landmark. Pikes Peak in the background. More of the Red Rock... Red Rock's okay, Joe, you can take off. So yeah, here we got the bonus today. All right, woohoo! Yeah, cool. Yeah, Joe's looking out for us. Kissing Camels is up there. It's too far away for you guys to see, especially with this camera. There's no you know, telephoto on these older GoPros that I know of. All right. Howdy. So yeah, so we're going through the new underpass. And like I said, they just put this in early this year. Howdy, folks. So it makes it a lot nicer, because you don't have to try to fight with traffic. Ole, 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 ole. Okay, if you want to know where that comes from, we mentioned before, there's a gentleman named Ryan Doozer, D-U-Z-Z-E-R, and he has a huge YouTube following, sorry. You know, like 100,000 people or something like that, you know. There's more view of the rocks here. Try to get it up tall enough over the bend. Howdy. Trail here, and that last what some people would call a mountain, or really technically is the foothills, although it's called Cheyenne Mountain. It's easily recognizable, because if you look at the top, it has a whole bunch of TV antennas on top of it. That's where a lot of the TV and the radio stations here in town put up their super tall antennas to be able to boost the signal down south. But yeah, okay, I forgot I should finish. So Ryan Doozer's site is called Get Out There. Get Out There. And this man is extraordinary. He travels all over the world. He rides, he does what they call bike packing, which is basically, I call it mountain bike touring. Although technically his bike's kind of a cross between a mountain bike, a road bike, and a gravel bike. So I guess you just call it an all-arounder. That over there is just back behind those trees. There's an old-style ranch. I can't remember the name of it right now. Sorry, but you can take a tour, and they actually have people there, you know, in period costume and stuff like that. So, all right. Well, like I said, we're on the Foothills Trail. Well, but if you do get a chance, please check out Ryan Doozer's site. get out there on YouTube. This story right now, he's touring through Sweden, and he's doing an off-road tour. And man, the poor man, it's been raining its guts out, tons of mosquitoes. It's not been a fun thing for him. Passing on your left. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Nobody behind us. A little chapel over here. I've seen people actually get married there and all kinds of stuff. Okay, well, this is the end of the Foothills Trail going south. What we're going to do is jump on the 31st Street bike lane, and we're heading over to 31st and Colorado Avenue to stop at Starbucks and have lunch, because Starbucks, we're not coffee people. We can't drink coffee because we automatically have to go to the bathroom if we do. But they do make a very, very good green unsweetened iced tea. So, and we like the green better than the black, because most everybody else has black, which is fine, but we'd rather have the green because the green's more mellow than the black tea. The black tea is considerably stronger. This is going to be a bit rough because, you know, it's just your, oh, what do they call this stuff? You know, the stuff that it comes out in pebbles, and they have to get a roller and they mash it in. So it's not real asphalt. It's just this, like I said, it's in little beads of asphalt, and they drop it down and then they flatten it with a flattener. But it never makes for a really smooth surface. But at least it has a bike lane all the way down it, which we do appreciate bike lanes. Because sometimes there's places you can't get on a trail. Most of the time, you know, you can, but sometimes you can't. So when they have these bike lanes, you know, in between the trails, like eventually what we'll do is after we get done with lunch, howdy, we're going to pick up the Midland Trail. And I got to gear up here, because they're doing flat to downhill. Of course, I'll gear up, and then our next intersection is where we have to stop. They don't put these where, you know, where you can make a flow out of it. One intersection you go through, one intersection you have to stop. This neighborhood is called Pleasant Valley. This was the nicer part of the west side, which I grew up on here in Colorado Springs. I'm an actual native of the city of Colorado Springs. Joe's family's been here since 1965, so you might as well consider them natives, because there's a lot of people who've been here for 2 years and call themselves natives, which they're not, they're transplants. But it's a very pleasant neighborhood. Older neighborhood, so it's got lots of trees. We'll go over to Pikes Peak Avenue and then pick up the double wide sidewalk over to Starbucks. Okay, we got a four-way stop here, so like I said, this is where we have to stop. All right, our turn, Joe. Let's go. See, if you wait too long, they'll come flying at you. When we stop, you gotta go. On these four-way stops, you know, we just gotta take our right away. me. Yeah, like I said, we lived here for a little while. My mom had a boyfriend who was a chef at the Broadmoor, and we were living with Alberto for a while. I don't remember exactly where. I think it was right around here someplace, but that's too long ago. I'm 68 years old, so that would have been when I was probably about 10. So that's 58 years ago. My memory's not that good. But the battery in the GoPro 3 will last almost 2 hours. I've heard that the batteries in the more, the newer stuff, the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, they don't last very long, so you have to have multiple batteries. I guess the older ones don't use as much battery. Now I have to admit, I hope one day to be able to get up to a, at least a 5 or a 6, maybe an 8 if I'm really lucky. But for now, I'll just stay with the old ones. They work good. Okay, now we're going to jump up on the sidewalk here. They made a new thing here, which is really hard to do because it's one of them. They love 90-degree corners. I can't figure it out. I mean, they absolutely love to put 90-degree corners, for sidewalks and bike lanes. I guess, they figure it won't matter, but it's a bit of a pain in the bottom end for us trikers. Well, here we are at Starbucks at Colorado and 31st Street. So we're going to go in here and park. A little bit of shade even. Not much, but a little bit. Oh, and I'm in the wrong gear. All right, well, we're going to let you go here and eat our brown bag lunch with some really nice green iced tea. So, we'll see you in a few. Bye. Because sometimes there's places you can't get on a trail. Most of the time, you can, but sometimes you can't. So when they have these bike lanes, in between the trails, like eventually what we'll do is after we get done with lunch, howdy, we're going to pick up the Midland Trail. And I got to gear up here. They're doing flat to downhill. Of course, I'll gear up, and then our next intersection is where we have to stop. they don't put these where where you can make a flow out of it. One intersection you go through, one intersection you have to stop. This neighborhood is called Pleasant Valley. This was the nicer part of the west side, which I grew up on here in Colorado Springs. I'm an actual native of the city of Colorado Springs. Joe's family's been here since 1965, so you might as well consider them natives. Because there's a lot of people who have been here for 2 years and call themselves natives. Which they're not, they're transplants. But it's a very pleasant neighborhood. Older neighborhood, so it's got lots of trees. We'll go over to Pikes Peak Avenue and then pick up the double wide sidewalk over to Starbucks. See, we got a four-way stop here, so like I said, this is where we have to stop. All right, our turn, Joe. Let's go. See, if you wait too long, they'll come flying at you. When we stop, you got to go. On these four-way stops, you know, we just got to take our right away. Excuse me. Yeah, like I said, we lived here for a little while. My mom had a boyfriend who was a chef at the Broadmoor, and we were living with Alberto for a while. I don't remember exactly where. I think it was right around here someplace, but that's too long ago. I'm 68 years old, so that would have been when I was probably about 10. See, that's 58 years ago. My memory's not that good. But the battery in the GoPro 3 will last almost 2 hours. I've heard that the batteries in the more, you know, the newer stuff, the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, they don't last very long, you know, so you have to have multiple batteries. I guess the older ones don't use as much battery. Now I have to admit, I hope one day to be able to get up to a, you know, at least a 5 or a 6, maybe an 8 if I'm really lucky. But for now, I'll just stay with the old ones. You know, they were good. Okay, now we're going to jump up on the sidewalk here. They made a new thing here, which is really hard to do because it's one of them. They love 90-degree corners. I can't figure it out. I mean, they absolutely love to put 90-degree corners, you know, for sidewalks and bike lanes. I guess, you know, they figure it won't matter, but it's a bit of a pain in the bottom end for us trikers. Well, here we are at Starbucks at Colorado and 31st Street. So we're going to go in here and park. A little bit of shade even. Not much, but a little bit. Oh, and I'm in the wrong gear. All right, well, we're going to let you go here and eat our brown bag lunch with some really nice green iced tea. So, we'll see you in a few. Bye.